No one in the crowd was prepared for what happened next. As the San Francisco fog rolled softly over the memorial stage and thousands stood in silence, John Mayer stepped forward, paused, and took a breath that seemed heavier than the moment itself. His voice trembled before he even spoke, and in that instant, it became clear. This was not just a eulogy. This was a goodbye from a student to his teacher, from a friend to a brother, from an artist forever changed by the man he was about to honor. "You changed my life," Mayer finally said, and the crowd felt it. This was the moment the world realized just how deep Bob Weir's legacy truly ran. John Mayer delivered an emotional and deeply personal eulogy for the late Grateful Dead co-founder Bob Weir during a public memorial held in San Francisco on Saturday afternoon. The setting was fitting, a city that had long been synonymous with the Dead's countercultural spirit, creativity, and musical freedom. Fans gathered from across generations, many wearing faded tie-dye shirts, some clutching vinyl records, others simply standing still with tears in their eyes. It was not just a memorial for a musician, but a farewell to a cultural architect who reshaped how music could feel, live, and breathe. Bob Weir, remembered by Mayer as both a countercultural icon and a true maestro, passed away on January 10th at the age of 78. His death followed a long and private battle with cancer, compounded by underlying lung issues. Though his passing was not entirely unexpected, the loss hit the music world with the force of a sudden silence, the kind that follows the final chord of a song you never wanted to end. As Mayer stood before the crowd, he didn't read from notes or attempt polished phrasing. Instead, he spoke from a place of raw honesty, his words often interrupted by emotion. He reflected on the first time he truly understood who Bob Weir was, not just as a founding member of the Grateful Dead, but as a musical philosopher who believed songs were living things meant to evolve, stretch, and surprise. Mayer admitted that before meeting Weir, he thought he understood music. After knowing him, he realized he had only just begun to learn. John Mayer's connection to Bob Weir went far beyond admiration. Their bond deepened when Mayer joined Dead & Company. The band formed to carry the Grateful Dead spirit into a new era. What began as collaboration quickly transformed into mentorship. Mayer described Weir as someone who taught without lecturing, guided without controlling, and inspired without demanding. "Bob never told you what to play," Mayer said. "He showed you how to listen." The eulogy took a quieter turn as Mayer spoke about Weir's generosity, not just with music, but with space. Space to experiment, space to fail, space to grow. Mayer explained that Weir believed the most powerful moments in music happened when musicians trusted one another enough to let go. That philosophy, Mayer said, changed the way he approached not only music, but life itself. At several points, Mayer had to stop speaking altogether, overwhelmed by the weight of memory and loss. The crowd remained silent, offering him the patience and respect reserved for moments that feel sacred. When Mayer regained his composure, he shared a story about watching Weir play late at night, long after rehearsals had ended, still searching for new sounds. Even after decades, Mayer said, Bob was still curious, still hungry, still listening for something new. Bob Weir's career spanned more than 6 decades, yet his influence could never be measured in years alone. As a founding member of the Grateful Dead, Weir helped pioneer a musical movement that blurred the lines between rock, folk, jazz, blues, and psychedelia. The Dead weren't just a band, they were an experience, a traveling community, a philosophy that rejected rigid structure in favor of freedom and exploration. Weir stood at the heart of that vision, rhythm guitar in hand, anchoring chaos with soul. Mayer spoke about how Weir carried that same spirit offstage. He described him as fiercely independent, deeply thoughtful, and quietly rebellious. Weir didn't chase trends or approval. He followed instinct. He trusted his ears. And perhaps most importantly, he trusted people. Bob believed in you before you believed in yourself, Mayer said, his voice breaking once more. As the eulogy continued, Mayer addressed the generational bridge that Weir had built. Through Dead & Company, Weir welcomed younger musicians and fans into a world that could have easily been closed off by nostalgia. Instead, he opened the doors wider. Mayer credited Weir with teaching him that legacy isn't about preserving the past. It's about inviting the future. The memorial wasn't just emotional, it was transformative. Audience members wept openly, embraced strangers, and sang softly as Mayer stepped away from the microphone. In that moment, it became clear that Bob Weir's impact was not confined to records or performances. It lived in the people he touched, the artists he inspired, and the community he helped create. Mayer closed his tribute with words that lingered long after they were spoken. He thanked Weir for the lessons, the music, and the courage to be different. He thanked him for proving that art doesn't need permission to exist, and that the truest expression of creativity comes from trust. Trust in yourself, and trust in those around you. Bob, Mayer said quietly, looking out over the crowd, you didn't just change how I play music. You changed how I listen. You changed how I live. And for that, I will carry you with me for the rest of my life. As the memorial came to an end, the city of San Francisco seemed to pause. The music world had lost a legend, but gained a reminder that the most powerful legacies aren't built through fame alone, but through generosity, courage, and an unwavering belief in the magic of possibility. Bob Weir may be gone, but through voices like John Mayer's, his song will never stop playing.